Adrian and I did our travels, taking advantage of Mrs. Moulier's staying with us for that first year especially, before she became homesick. This was our hotel in Copenhagen, La Belle France. Copenhagen, a very modern city. This is an old section, very modern in their thinking. There was a lot of red light districts and pornography, and drugs were allowed. They were trying to see how far they could take society at that point, and along with Amsterdam, they got caught in a bind and had to back up a few steps and get control. Getting tired. I'll wrap this up after this one, or at least take a break. Some of the street scenes of Copenhagen. We took a bus tour around Denmark. This was one of the Gastarbeiter churches. A lot of foreign workers through the years and centuries that came to the wealthy countries of the North Sea. And this was a church made up of over 1 million bricks. There's Ted Ottaviano getting off the tour bus. Hi, Ted. He's living in Atlanta. And here's the famous little mermaid in the harbor of Copenhagen. And there's a little mermaid sitting there somewhere. Can't see her. But there was a mermaid posing someplace there. There she is. There's a mermaid posing. Hello, little mermaid. And there she is again, a little bit older. I asked Marjorie to come up with an idea for a title for the mermaid in Copenhagen, and her idea was to pose for it, which I thought was clever. Smart little girl. Here's the Viking bus, Copenhagen Sightseeing Company. The people from Denmark didn't leave anything to chance. This is a statue made up of portions of culture from Greek and Roman and Viking and Danish and German. There's a Greek goddess riding on the bulls from some of the Roman mythology. The mingling or blending. There's a Neptune guy from, Neptune is Roman or Greek mythology. Mercury. This is all in the same Fountain Square area that you just saw those bulls. There's the bulls again, charging through the waters of the fountain. In the bay where the Little Mermaid is, the famous symbol of Copenhagen and Denmark. Guys having a little eruption. And yes, Copenhagen does have bear-skinned, fur-lined, or fur-covered boots, patterned after the royalty in England. Of course, they're all related. The German princes and kings are the ancestors of the Windsors in England. That was why there was a lot of concern with George VI being on the throne when he was King of England. And a lot of people think that he was forced to resign because of his Nazi leanings. He thought that Hitler was doing a good job. Late 30s. Some of the signs around Copenhagen, Helsingør, Korsør. This is one of the main streets. Home of Hans Christian Andersen. There's a big statue to Hans Christian Andersen on this square someplace. These are the Tivoli Gardens. Lovely Tivoli Gardens in the center, or just off the center of Copenhagen. 5-minute walk from the main square. That's Hans Christian Andersen right there. That guy sitting on the statue. Ah, here it is. Hans Christian Andersen Boulevard. Looks like another fountain of some sort. Can't tell what that is in this angle. It's an elephant. Maybe it's an elephant or a rhinoceros. Or a dragon. Probably a dragon. There's the Palace Hotel right on the square. Or an elephant. That looks like an elephant shooting up there. Dumbo. Maybe that was one of his stories. And there's the symbol of the Vikings, blowing their mighty horns as they come into the harbors. Danish had a real sense of humor about themselves. When we took a one-day tour to Sweden, a bus and boat tour. Sweden is not that far from Denmark, of course, just over the bay there to the southern tip of it. Sweden's a very large country. Got a long way to go to get up to Stockholm and Göteborg, where the Volvos are made. But the southern part of it is close to Denmark, close enough to take an easy bus tour to get a feeling for what Sweden is like. And it's very similar to Denmark in many ways. Languages are different, but they can understand each other. If you speak one of the Scandinavian languages, there's enough similarity that you can get by in the other languages as well. And this looks like it's the end of the reel. This is reel number 25, July 1971 through August 71. We're looking at Dachau concentration camp. It's about 20 miles west of Munich, Germany. Amazing how a large concentration camp, 5,000 to 10,000 prisoners, wouldn't be known by the community of Munich and surrounding areas, but everyone claimed that they didn't know anything about these concentration camps. And this is just the remnants. They've left one barracks as a memorial. There was about 30 or 40 barracks lined up on those. That's the foundation. That concrete framework there was the foundation of where the barracks were, as they tore down all the barracks, planted trees. The various denominations put up memorials. There's a Carmel Christian memorial there and its tower. Gold cross shining in the sun. There's a figure in the park. I'm not sure what that was. It's just a memorial to the dead, Den Toten, to the dead. There's the crematorium. They didn't get the crematorium going full blast in Dachau till very late in the war. They funded the ones in Poland. Auschwitz and Bergen-Belsen were the major ones. In this, here's the Jewish memorial. In the main building here, they have a map, and there must have been 100 concentration camps, most of them in Poland, Czechoslovakia, but 30 or 40 of them in Germany, 20 or 30, and 100. There must have been 200 camps where they were exterminating people. I mean, to kill 6 million Jews and another 4 or 5 million other denominations, gypsies and Christians, you needed an awful lot of camps, and Hitler was very well organized for spewing death around. That's the Olympic skyline. That's the Munich skyline, some of the Olympic towers. Munich was building up for the 1972 Olympics. That's where the Israeli massacre occurred, by the way, or when it occurred in 72 while we were living in Berlin in Germany. Probably living in Waldenbuch in that time. Here's some of the sculpture work on the cross. And I went right next door to the Dachau concentration camp was an Italian memorial, so they must have had a lot of Italian prisoners killed in Dachau, because this Italian war memorial was not on the Dachau grounds. It had been purchased privately and put up there. Burying the dead or carting the dead off from the concentration camp area. I think they copied some of the towers of the Munich scene. There's the Yellow Submarine discotheque in the Holiday Inn hotel in Munich. They had a shark room. You walked through a wall into the discotheque, and all swimming around behind glass panels were sharks. Welcome in the Holiday Inn in Munich. Here's their welcome sign to the Holiday Inn. There's this section in Schwabing is sort of the